Hey, what's up, you guys? Thank you so much for joining me today on the meditation channel. Hi, welcome. So today I want to talk about a very interesting topic that has often come up in the spiritual community, and something that I think a lot of people may not know about, but are in fact affected by it, and that is the witch wound. Mwahaha. Isn't that right, Bubbas? By the way, this is one of my babies. I love you. Yeah, he's a good boy. All right, so let's see how long he wants to stay with us. This is Hendrix, by the way. So, okay, you guys. So, the witch trials. Well. Apparently, let me get my trusty Google because I want to make sure that I'm getting somewhat of the facts right. So, the exact number is unknown of how many women were burnt at the stake. They weren't just burnt, they were tortured, they were also drowned, and I'm not quite sure what else they did to them, but it was not fun, apparently. So, but the moderate to conservative scholars say that it was anywhere between 40 to 50,000. However, in the University of Bologna, and his name was the scholar Carlo Ginzburg, I don't know, whatever. He estimates that it was anywhere between 3 to 4 million. Yeah. So the witch trials. Well, this is when, listen. Christianity, listen, I know you guys, you gotta own this one, man. You guys fucked up big time, okay? Like, burning at the stake millions of women is not holy. It's not a good thing. It's not okay. And yeah, caused a lot of issues. Even today, it has had a ripple effect on the psyche of people, and it has affected healers, women in general, I think, but not just that. The witch trials or the witch wound hasn't just affected women, it has also affected men. Now, let's just go back a little bit in time. Who were the witches? The witches were actually the wise ones. They were the ones where people came to for counsel. They were in connection to nature, to herbs, to the natural flow of life. They were the ones that helped women give birth. They were the doctors of the time. I mean, they were really powerful and they had a lot of influence on people in the villages and were able to really help people. Now, as we know, the church got involved. They obviously did not want anyone else to have any type of influence or power. And they, and they essentially said, hey, these women are evil, they're from the devil, and let's just, do the right thing and torture them to death. Yeah, good idea. Do you want to go back? He's kissing me. He's like in love mode right now. So, yeah, very interesting, you guys. So essentially what happened, of course, was a ton of trauma. It created so much trauma in society at the time. And here's the thing. It also affected how women treat each other today. And I'll explain it to you. So first and foremost, I noticed this in a lot of my clients who are healers, who are people who want to explore their spirituality, but are afraid. There's this kind of like, oh my God, if I become powerful, if I speak up, if I heal, if I start doing this or that, there is this subconscious fear of being punished for it, or of doing something wrong, or of being bad, or of being shunned. And essentially, this is the witch wound. This is essentially how it still affects healers and witches and anyone who wants to practice spirituality today, because it's still in our psyche, because it wasn't until that long ago. I believe it was in the 1700s till the last woman was burnt at the stake. This stuff lives in our DNA. It gets passed on by generation through generation. So the trauma gets affected, like the trauma gets passed down. And it takes a very long time for people to let go of these kind of traumas. Now, here's another thing that I've noticed as well with women in general. Women tend to be bitchy, right? Or we're said to be bitchy. We gossip, we talk about one thing, we talk about people, other girls' back, we're competitive with other women. And this is the crazy thing that I've realized. This is also part of the witch wound. You see, back in those days, if a woman did not point the finger at her neighbor and say, hey, I've seen her go into the forest and play with herbs or talk to trees, then they would be at risk. So the best thing that women at that time could do to save their own lives was essentially to point out that their neighbor or their cousin or their sister even were the ones who were practicing witchcraft, and probably they were, maybe they weren't, who knows, and essentially they got punished and they got saved. And this has kind of had a ripple effect now in today's society, where women don't trust each other, where women bicker behind each other's backs. And to tell you the truth, back in those days, women worked together. They supported each other. They were nurturing towards each other. They had gatherings even, not even witchy stuff. It was just women gathering together and supporting each other and helping each other out. And over the years, because of the witch trials, if two women were seen together, it was a bad thing. Oh, they're practicing witchcraft and they have a coven, and so therefore we must eliminate them. So women had to separate from each other and no longer gather and no longer support each other, but go against each other in order to survive. Now, the witch wound also has affected the men. I'll explain. The women that got burnt at the stake, there were their mothers, their wives, their daughters, their sisters, their friends. And these men got demasculated. Their power, their duty, or their ability to protect, to nurture, to save these women was taken away. And they had no other choice but to stand by and watch these women being tortured and unfairly, brutally being murdered. And there was nothing that they could do. And their masculinity got taken away, their power got taken away, their role as a man to protect got taken away. And of course, this eventually had a ripple effect on men as well, where they no longer were able to fulfill their duty, to have their power. And I mean, I guess it explains why now men are so lost in so many ways, even in their relationships with women. So essentially what's happening right now is that I'm noticing that this is something that affects a lot of healers, like I said, and even myself. I've noticed that anytime I practice anything that I find, like a releasing ritual or a full moon ritual, just to, let go of something, even writing it on a piece of paper and burning it, there is this subconscious fear that something bad might happen. And essentially this is the witch wound. So first and foremost, I just want to announce I have made a meditation on witch wound to help you release the witch wound and essentially hopefully free yourself as much as you can from this fear, from this subconscious fear. But the next thing that you guys can do essentially is also just learn how to protect yourself energetically, how to shield yourself, continue your practices, and educate yourself as much as you can. But the best thing that I think that you can do when it comes to this is look into it. Look into the past, look into what happened and how it affected and influenced people. Give me a second, I gotta put him down. How it affected and influenced people, and essentially how this still has power and control over the healers, over the people, over people today. And so I just want to encourage you guys just to really dig deep and just to explore your own witch wound, and in what ways do you have fears? Are you afraid of how people will perceive you? What is your fear around your spiritual practices? Even meditation to some people can be terrifying, because it's like, I am tapping into something beyond God or the church or whatever it is that your beliefs are, and there's this fear that you're going to be punished for it. And so I encourage you really just to explore the past, explore what happened, and educate yourself as best as you can, because knowledge is power. And when you understand what happened, then from there you can start making your own decisions, an educated decision as best as you can. Me personally, I have started to learn as much as I can, gather as much information, and really take time to heal the witch wound, to take time to tell myself that I am safe. I do practices, shielding practices, and above everything else, of course, I make sure that any practice that I do is of a higher frequency, that I don't dabble in lower frequencies, I don't mess with lower entities. I always work with my higher self and my spiritual team, and I always make sure that I cast a protection circle to ensure that I am connected to a source that is pure and has the best intention of all involved. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. And what do you think? Do you suffer from the witch wound? Do you know anyone else in your circle that suffers from the witch wound? And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this. And yeah, I'd be interested to know how it has affected you and whether you have done anything to overcome the witch wound, and what have you done? Because it's great to share it and let other people know so that we can help this community grow and obviously create an environment for women and men where we can finally heal this wound, this collective wound, so that we can return to our purity of supporting each other, loving each other, and creating a better world at the end of the day. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful. Leave a comment below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you so much, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.